Hi, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. If you are new here, my name is Anna. I'm a makeup artist from Manchester. If you are not new here, I'm still Anna. But welcome back. It's so lovely to have you here, whether you are new or not. Please do the thing, do the commenting, do the liking, do the subscribing. You know the drill. I had a request asking if I would talk a little bit about the brushes that I use. I mentioned in the last video that I absolutely love brushes. They are like my one true love. So yeah, what I will do today, I was filming this eye look anyway, so I filmed the whole thing, and I will talk a little bit about the brushes I use. You know, I feel like I should do this whole spiel that, you know, it's a preference. But yeah, I do have some brushes that are like my ride or dies. So I will talk a little bit about those. And you get to see how I get this very natural and low-key look that's not at all gonna give me some right looks when I walk into the daylight. I should explain, I am literally leaving in about 10 minutes to go to a dance competition, which is why we are full glam. We have hair, I want to say done, but you know, we were not blessed with good hair. We were cursed with terrible hair. But I've done what I can. So yeah, if you want to know a little bit about the brushes I use, both in my kit and on myself, please keep on watching.
So for the eye base, I'm just using a flat brush. I have loads of these. I think this might be from Morphe. To be honest, any will do. Just patting it on quite roughly, and then I go in with a concealer brush from Spectrum, just buffing the edges and tapping onto the eyelid just to make sure there are no creases. I'm going in with an angled brush because I'm doing this sort of winged out look. For the darkest shades, the most important thing is that it's quite a dense brush. It doesn't really matter if it's angled or straight or domed. It's just because I have this shape in my head that I'm using an angle here. It's just getting that colour on. Really, that's the most important thing. And then using a small, firm blending brush. This is from Morphe. It's a collab with He Who Must Not Be Named. But again, you can get a similar one pretty much from anywhere. It's the size and the density again that you want, just buffing that so there's no sharp lines when you start blending. And then we're going in with an HF Cosmetics, sort of a medium size blending brush, still quite firm. I like my blending brushes to have a little bit of firmness to them, just so I have more control of the shades. If they're too soft and fluffy, I just find that they don't really do much. They're just kind of stroking my face. And then this is from Blank Canvas. It's a bigger blending brush, which I'm going in with that lighter shade. Just getting all those edges away. So as the further out we go, the bigger and fluffier the brush is getting. Finishing off with a super soft brush from Doll Beauty, just with that kind of bone coloured shade right up along the brow bone. I'm using a smaller flat brush to get the cut crease base on. If I was doing a super fancy cut crease, I would go in with kind of a concealer or lip brush, but this doesn't have to be too perfect, so this will do absolutely fine. And then just a small flat brush just to pat it out and soften that edge, the outer edge. This is a Morphe M124. It's perfect for shimmer shades. I think it's discontinued, which makes me very sad because it is my favorite. I just wiped it and used it for both the first two shimmer shades. And then in with a Jessup detail shader for that inner corner kind of work. I have some similar one from Blank Canvas and also from Beauty Bay. So you can find alternatives, but these brushes are like gold dust. I adore them. Because I want them to pick up enough of the shimmer, but also it needs to be fairly firm and flat to place the shimmer on without it going everywhere. And then back in, now really using that angle to get the shape. And then we go over with all the brushes. So, and then look at this. We have a tiny pencil brush. I think this is from Eco Tools. I have small hands, so I like a short handled brush. And then this is a Blank Canvas angled pencil brush, which can get in and do all that fine detail work. Also going on top of the cut crease, just to frame that very nicely. And then we blend again. There's a lot of blending going on. So Morphe, HF Cosmetics. Blank Canvas. And Doll Beauty. Because I'm doing my own face, I'm just putting my primer on with my fingers. I would use a brush for a client. I'm applying my foundation first with, this is just a cheap brush from AliExpress. I have about 20 of these. This is not the right shade. Well, it is, but I've not blended it yet. I did want a heavy coverage. So here she is. This is my favorite brush ever. This is the HF Cosmetics foundation brush. It's angled, so it gets in all the little creases you may have on your face. I'm obviously doing a full coverage look here today, but day to day, believe me when I say I use about half the amount of foundation I used to use because it blends so well. I'm blending down on my neck because this is when I realized I had an allergic reaction to my moisturizer. I don't usually go down that far. I'm just placing my concealer on with a flat brush. I think this is from Revolution. Flat brushes are flat brushes. Don't come for me. So we're just placing that on because what I really needed here was to make this even paler. Again, I wouldn't use this much concealer day to day. This is, again, show makeup. It had to look good on stage. HF Cosmetics, a smaller foundation brush, smaller concealer brush. So same shape as the foundation brush, just a much smaller size. Gets in those little corners, it gets in around the nose, and it blends out your concealer just beautifully. HF Cosmetics again, now for the little under eye powder brush, which is domed instead of angled. And still gets in around the nose and under the eyes. I'm just powdering these down now because this is where I tend to crease quite quickly. So I powder it down before I do anything else. For my cream contour, I use a Real Techniques foundation brush. It's domed and I like how it gets in right underneath that cheekbone to make you look nice and angular. So we're placing this on. I did kind of give myself a little bit of a beard here, but we did blend it out quite nicely. And then a Doll Beauty flat brush for my nose contour. It's stained. It doesn't actually go on green. But it's just narrow enough to do that nice snatched nose contour. And then we're going to blend that in with a concealer brush from Pat McGrath. Again, that angle and the density makes it perfect for nose contour. It just blends it so flawlessly and gets right in there. because it's my own makeup rather than my kit, I'm just placing that bronzer straight on my face. I wouldn't do this for a client, obviously. I'd use a palette. And then I'm using a foundation brush from Pat McGrath, again with that dome shape that I like for bronzer and contour. Just tapping that in to blend, warming that face up a bit because it was very pale. And then I'm just going in with the HF Cosmetics brush again, using whatever's left on the brush just to blend that in nicely. Again, this is the third brush. It comes in a set of 3 called the 3 brush kit is, which are all these angled brushes. This is the one I use for blush. You can use it for cream bronzer and contour as well. I like it for blush. And then just again, blending it with the foundation brush. I don't usually powder my whole face, but I am going in with the Pat McGrath big powder brush because again, we need it to last all day. Dull Beauty bronzer brush for the powder bronzer, still domed. I prefer domed brushes for bronzer and contour. And then an angled brush, this one is from Spectrum, for my powder blush. I don't like too much blush, which is why I keep going in and blending it. Some people look amazing in lots of blush. I look like a clown. Just spraying that down and then using a highlighter brush from Juvia's Place. I love this one. This is my favorite because it's dense enough that I can use it both for cream and powder highlight. And it just gets to where I need it to go. Back in with the Jessup detail brush for my inner corner and under the brow bone. And brow brush from HF Cosmetics. It's got a really nice, good angular brush for the brow and eyeliner. Using some tiny brushes from AliExpress because I'm using liquid lipstick. I use a bigger brush if I'm using gloss, but I needed this to be quite detailed. And then in with a brighter red lip, and that's it.
So there we go. We are done. Final look. Red lip, who is she? I did say I was going to challenge myself to start using more bright coloured lips. Don't get much brighter than this, do we? So I hope that was helpful in some ways. Highly recommend all the brushes that I've used, unless I have told you so in the voiceover. Who knows? It's very exciting. I hope you found this video useful. I would still love it if you liked, commented, subscribed, all that jazz. Please let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see. As you can see, I do respond. I really appreciate it because sometimes I completely run out of imagination. So yeah, thank you very much and I hope to see you again soon. Take care, be safe and all that. Bye.